right, welcome back to the Monica Brant Show. I'm Monica Brant, co-host tonight with 𝗦𝗽cie IFBB superstar, and the beautiful Joanne Lee Cornish, who is an IFBB superstar as well. We've been talking about all of the amazing things that Joanne coaches now with regards to nutrition and training, and have 3 decades worth of information and experience that you've been able to share with us. Obviously, you have so much information in your book, When Calories and Cardio Don't Cut It. So our next segment here, I want to dive into a couple, 3 topics that you go in depth here, but I know also you've got a lot of coaching abilities or coaching opportunities that you're starting up in January. So this is perfect timing to get this out. So people can start going over to the Shrink Shop.
Shrinkshop.com. Shrink Shop.
Shrink Shop. Shrink Shop. Yes, there it is. And right here, we've got the Shrink Shop.
No, just the Shrink Shop. It's just the Shrink Shop.
I think when you go to your website, what I noticed too when I was on it, it did say up there, the Shrink Shop. So I'm not
Shopify messed up.
It's Shrink Shop. So
Instagram, or you can find my stuff there as well.
Yes, you're all over the place. So and you have so much valuable information as far as even just short clips that you have on your YouTube channel and throughout your social media. So, you know, I remember listening to one of yours on alcohol a while back, and it was kind of interesting because I was like, oh, I've never heard that. So I took 3 areas that I want you just to touch on, and I'm just going to put them out here and let you cruise through them at your how they come out in your minds, right? So I want to talk stress, alcohol, and of course midlife mastery, and mostly want to know what are the most notable issues that people face with stress. You know, like what is the body, what happens in the body with stress, kind of the most notable issues when people drink alcohol. What's the most notable issues, without going into big conversation, right? And then obviously midlife mastery, the 3 top issues when you're coaching, and just kind of, what is your, short answer advice on these topics?
Well, a couple of them link in. The stress kind of links into the midlife thing a little bit. So with stress, we kind of pride ourselves a little bit on it, not getting enough sleep, whatever. But what I want people to know about stress is, for one thing, the way it works in the nervous system. When you're stressed, your digestive system shuts down. So people don't digest the food as well. How many people do you see these days with, oh, I'm intolerant to this, I'm intolerant to that, oh, I can't digest this? A lot of it is stress related. The other thing about stress is depleting your adrenals. When you get into midlife, it's not your ovaries that are making your hormones anymore, it's your adrenals. And if you've burnt your adrenals out in your 20s and 30s, and you get to your mid-40s, and now you need your adrenals to make your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and they're not able to because you've stressed them out so much. So stress isn't just about feeling better, it is right about your digestive system and mood, we know that, but later on in life, it is your hormonal base. So you don't want to mess with your adrenals too much, or we need to respect them a lot more.
Right. Is there a way to recover from, I guess that's adrenal fatigue is kind of the terminology, right? What would be your kind of big picture advice on recovery, and what kind of maybe, and I know this might kind of be going off, but just in a big picture, what would be your advice on that? And maybe is there a time frame that people could be like, oh, well, it's going to take me a year to recover from this, or is it
some people it can. You can get tested for adrenal fatigue. So the first thing is to get tested for it. The second is take a look at your life. And everyone thinks like, oh, I can't, do it. No, you can, and you kind of have to, right? You can't. You got to grow up and like, where can I take charge of, right? And then also we all have something that we enjoy doing that decompresses us. Some people just having a massage, a bath, something can be your pets, whatever it is that makes you decompress, where you literally feel, you're not feeling physically, you feel that you've got to do that more.
Yeah. Have you ladies seen the caffeine content in some of these drinks too? Like 300 milligrams of caffeine. What? I saw a drink like this big. It was this big. It had 400 milligrams of caffeine. Who needs to drink that much caffeine in a sitting?
So that's why I'm like, at some point we've got to grow up, read the damn label, and like, come on, you're suffering with stress, but what it really is going to hit you once you get to midlife, because again, your adrenals make your hormones as you get older. So if you've got adrenal fatigue, yes, you're going to have, your other hormones are going to be compromised from it. How long does it take to repair? Everybody's different, but it's a commitment. You're not going to fix it in a week. It's a commitment. Yeah. But it can be fixed. And supplements, there's some great supplements.
Well, and I know we didn't speak on this in the episode earlier, but you have some supplements, don't you, that would be helpful for some of this?
I do. I have a supplement. My main supplement is I have a sleep supplement. So I have
there it is.
It's on Amazon. There you go. It's on Amazon. The sleep formula. It's probably the biggest stress that you ever hear of, right? Is lack of sleep. And as you get older, that can get a challenge. This has got 14 different natural sleep products in it. It works fantastic. That's why it's here, because it's going in my case. I'm taking it.
You use like 𝗬𝗂𝘂𝗁𝗲 is my go-to.
Yes, yeah.
It's hard to find a supplement that has a nice, like a dose that actually will help, but there is one by Matt Porter. It's like a cortisol. It's a great one. It has a really good portion of phosphatidylserine, and it actually helps me a lot when I'm getting ready for a show.
Phosphatidylserine works very well on exercise cortisol. Very well. Yeah, really well. Yeah. But it will show up later on. It's your adrenals are our ovaries, testes make our hormones when we're younger, but when they stop, we rely. When we're younger, the adrenals only make about 15% of our hormones, but then later on, we rely on them. And that's but the digestive thing, how many people do you know that are intolerant to this? Or a lot of that is stress. A lot of it is stress.
Sorry, I went on a tangent. I was like making it relate to myself.
No, phosphatidylserine is a great supplement.
Your topic to my problems.
It's all good.
But that is a great one for people that exercise a lot. That is a really great product. Really great product.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about stress. What about the big topic no one wants to talk about is alcohol, and because it's always like, oh, moderation, but it seems like, okay, when I was in my 20s, 30s, like Heidi, my girlfriend, we lived in that apartment together in our 20s, and there was alcohol that basically just collected dust, and it came because she was married before, and then when she moved, divorced and moved, there was wine and stuff that came with her, and it sat on those shelves, and we never opened any of it. And I remember, I'd go out and have a dinner and maybe have a glass of wine, or once in a while we'd go out and have a margarita, but very rarely. And of course, as you get older, it's just like that's kind of more what people are doing more often, or, you're home, have a glass of wine. So how do you coach on that? Because obviously I know there's a lot of issues, but what would you say is the most notable issue? And then how do you, a big picture, again, bird's eye view, kind of like, how do you coach your clients that is a habitual habit? Habitual habit, does that make sense? or maybe it's something that, they do with their spouse, and it's just kind of like,
they do habitually.
A lot of people just to take the edge off their day, right? I mean, we're tired. So the thing with alcohol, and I'm English, so I'm never going to, I'm certainly not going to be like, oh, here's your diet, you can have a drink again. That's not me. So the thing to want to know about alcohol is when your liver is breaking down alcohol, it can't break anything else down, right? So for the time that you're drinking alcohol, your liver, I think so lipolysis is, I talk a lot about lipolysis in the book. Lipolysis is the breakdown of fat. And they say when your liver is breaking down alcohol, lipolysis is reduced by 75%, right? So I think there's something like, it's something like if you have 2 vodkas, lipolysis is shut down by 75% for 4 hours, something like that. So if you're trying to get leaner, your body's just not able to break down fat when you're drinking and for a few hours after. So if you're drinking every single night, you're losing hours every day. So if you have a couple of, drinks a week, in terms of fat breakdown, okay, maybe you can get away with that. What happens as we get older? The enzyme that breaks down alcohol, we have less of it. So we'll find that we actually just can't tolerate it as much. So we'll end up getting dehydrogenate dehyacetate is the enzyme. I haven't said that right. And we make less of it as we get older. So when we do drink, we're more likely to feel the effects the next day. So that's what happens as we get older. Also with guys, you know, that's why I think I say in my book, when you see the embarrassing relative at the Christmas party making a fool of himself, it's like, yeah, that's because he can't break down the alcohol as well as he used to. So we don't tolerate it as well. It's going to make us not feel so great. And then what type of alcohol? I think if I had to give my one-liner, do not eat the carbohydrate when you're drinking. Don't do it.
Because you're not gonna.
Don't do it. Don't do
body's
it.
not
Don't
gonna
do it.
focus on the carbs.
Don't bring your blood sugar up while you're drinking as well. Go for the chicken satay. Go for some peanuts. Go for some cheese. Do not go for the carbs when you are drinking. If I had a one-liner, that would be it. In terms of the other one is, if you're picking your poison, if you're drinking wine or beer, you know, it is fermented. The nature of fermentation is you're putting sugar in, right? If you drink distilled, you know, your tequilas, your vodka, the nature of the process is you're taking the sugar out. So if you had to pick your poison, I would pick distilled, because the nature of the process, you know, it's going to have less sugar than the wine.
Well, so scratch the Italian meal with the wine.
You know what? I have been blessed with just hating alcohol. I hate it with a passion. The taste of it, the smell of it. Like, the only way to mask it for me is to dose it with a bunch of sugar, and I don't like sugary drinks. So I just hate it. It's hard for me to. So as a coach, when I'm helping people, I have to help people understand what you just said about, you know, the body being reserved for breaking down the alcohol when you're trying to burn fat. And It's like, I just say, you know, if you're going to do it, I don't want to know about it, because I can't recommend any amount of alcohol that would be a good amount. You're an adult, make your decisions, and then come back to me when you need to fix it.
I think you've got to think of it like, for some people, it's almost like, maybe I can't tell you the last time I had a craving. Because of, you know, I know so much about food. I'm a fat burner. I like my food. I haven't got a craving. But it's the same thing. So for some people, the alcohol, and if they come into my coaching and I say, you can't drink, right? Mine on competition diets, they're going to be turned off. It's like, I know sometimes they need those couple of hours, just a couple of sips of it.
Just
and I'm like,
do
fine.
it.
But I'm going to clean up your whole day. I'm going to make sure you're breaking down fat all day. So if you miss a few hours, like twice a week, you know.
Yeah, it's like, I know they're going to do it. I don't want to say don't do it because of that. But I also I can't, in good faith, like, recommend a certain amount. Because if you tell people have one glass of wine, what do you think they're going to do? Are they going to have a glass of wine?
Well, it could be one of those big glasses, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, just do it. You're going to probably have less alcohol if I don't recommend a certain amount, when it's your own, you know, agency making the decision versus me telling you. You have a
competition diet, it's a different thing. It's like, if you're doing like a 12-week competition diet, it's like,
right.
Suck it up, buttercup. You signed up for a show. It's like,
oh yeah, you know. I'm not talking about competition people. I'm talking about people
like they're not drinking. You know?
No, if you're getting ready for a show, you're doing that behind my back. You're not telling me about it, probably.
Because you know you're going to get beaten by somebody that didn't have the drink.
Yeah, I mean, you're on stage. You're going to get beat anyway, right?
Yeah, you don't want to lose because of that, right?
Yeah.
So the reason behind don't eat carbs and raise blood sugars, if someone asks you that, what's your one-liner for that reason?
Because the fats, the carbohydrates are going to go to the liver, and because the liver's breaking down alcohol, it's going to just turn them into triglycerides and shoot them out as fat.
There you go. Good stuff. Wham, bam. All right. So as far as midlife mastery, what are the top 3 issues that you coach on? And you don't need to go into detail, because I want people to come for you for the coaching, obviously. So what are the top 3 things that you would say you coach on for that specific?
Oh my gosh. So the topics that I coach on for the Mastering Midlife program, the top ones are, belly fat, belly fat, belly fat, belly fat, belly fat, belly fat. Oh my gosh, belly fat, belly fat. Everybody comes in with that, right? That one I can explain, boom, right? We can fix that, right? That's the top one. And then people, they want their energy back. They want to feel like themselves again. They don't like the changes in their skin. If they work out in the gym, all of a sudden they're not able to build muscle. Their muscle tones going, and that's because we don't absorb as much protein as we did. We need to literally almost double our protein. We just do not have the acid in our stomach to break it down as we get older. So it really, when with the age where we should be eating more protein, like almost double what we should be eating, right? We're usually eating less, because as we get older, our taste for protein, I don't know if you but people end up eating less protein. They lose their taste for it a little bit. But we actually, because we don't have as much hydrochloric acid in our stomach, the protein we're eating is not being absorbed and utilized, and we have to actually eat more. So I'd say the top three, always belly fat, right? If they're working out, then it's muscle tone. Oh my, it's changing. The loose skin. Oh my God, I hate
like,
that.
get rid of this. Get rid of
Haven't got the magic answer for that. Although extended fast work pretty well on that. And I think a lot of people just come in like they just don't feel like themselves. They just want to feel like themselves again. They feel they've lost, And a lot of them, again, is going back to the adrenal fatigue. They're not producing the hormones enough.
Right.
They're not even producing the hormones they need because of maybe the adrenal fatigue, or not necessarily even adrenal fatigue, but somewhat compromised because of maybe they've had a couple of decades raising a family and juggling a career and something else, and they get to an age where like, okay, now I can take care of myself, and finding themselves again with women, guys as well. Guys go through. I have a lot of guys go through andropause, and they go through andropause in their 50s. And it's sad because the signs of andropause, guys just think that they're getting older, like they're less interested, they're sad, they're actually a sadness, they say, for men, right? There's a whole list, I think they call the ages test or something like that. And guys tend to just write it off as like getting older, but it's not. It's not, it's hormonally compromised. So women, we have our menopause thing. And the reason that we get so much attention about it is because it's such a circus. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't ignore it's happening.
Yeah.
So often it's put on the back burner for those guys. So they have to pay attention as well.
I think in your book, here on page 198, new body and not the one I ordered. And it says menopause. It says menopause and menopause.
It's true. It's true.
Menopause. I was like, that's cool. I hadn't heard about that. You got so much.
And you feel sorry for the guys because they get somewhat ignored, and yet they're not feeling the same either, and they just write it off as getting older. So what happens is the women go through it in their 40s, and the guys are feeling great, and they don't understand what the woman's going through. They don't. My girl's gone crazy, and I feel great. Then the guys get to the 50s, and then they start to, and the women have kind of like found their feet again, like, okay, that was crazy. But now their guys starting to suffer, and our timings are wrong, and sometimes we don't recognize what's happening.
Yeah.
Because it's happening at different times. Yeah.
That is so interesting.
Right? So much great information. I love it.
This is really, really awesome.
In my Mastering Midlife program, I do one Zoom on women's health, and I do one on men's. Yeah. And often the women don't come in that Zoom, and I'm always like, "You're telling me you haven't got a guy in your life? I'm sorry, but you've got a brother or a husband."
I want to know
too, right?
Understanding, that Venus and Mars kind of situation.
Absolutely, they go through it too. They do, just a little bit later, and it's a little bit more subtle.
So much.
Did you say a little bit more saucy?
No, a little bit more subtle.
Oh, I thought you said they're a little bit more saucy.
Well, hopefully we get that back. But no, there's nothing subtle about menopause. But
Oh, maybe. I was going to say, I think women are a little more saucy.
They are, as they get older, they are.
Oh, that's cute. Well, the whole thing, they say that men age distinguished. Men get more distinguished, and that women just age. It's like, I'm like,
guys will
women get more beautiful, clearly.
Yeah, anyways.
Really?
Guys often will be very proactive, as you know, something, as soon as something down their pants doesn't work, they're off to the doctor to get fixed, right? They'll get the little blue pill, right? They're not dealing with that. And yet women are kind of like, almost like you've got age gracefully, do it like we're like, just deal with it. And like, oh, don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, whereas guys, you've got the commercials all over the TV, like, take care of this. You don't need to feel like this, you know?
Yeah.
So women, a lot of women put themselves on the back burner for a long time. For a long time.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Well, this has been really, really interesting. And there was one story, Joanne, I wanted to just share. We didn't talk about this earlier, but Wendy might find it funny. So I used to go out to LA and visit and work, and whatever I was doing, I would come in and out of LA a lot. And I always had to see Joanne, and sometimes we would go to eat at P.F. Chang's, because that was kind of like something we did back in the day. Yeah, go down to Wilshire Boulevard in Santa Monica, and we'd go to P.F. Chang's and eat. And there was a bartender there that was a fan of mine. He remembered me from the 𝗬98 Olympia. He was there, and he saw me actually taking pictures the day after I won in Nice, France. And so, remember Michel?
Mm-hmm.
And he was, yeah, he was in it. So when we would go to, I have some little things scanned starting here, but anyways, so we would go to P.F. Chang's, we'd sit at the bar and we'd eat, and he would, it seems like he was always there. And he would give us, we would have some wine, and he would, you know, fill the wine up a little bit more. Well, I remember one time I was there, and I think we had probably each had 2 glasses of wine, but he poured like big. And we sat there probably for about 3 hours catching up. I think it was an extended amount of time. It could have been like a 6:30 arrival, 11 o'clock leaving kind of deal, right? I had a rental car, and I'm driving back to, because Joanne had let me stay with her in Marina Del Rey at the time, and her condo. And so we were driving back down through Venice on Abbot Kinney, and it's this windy road, you know, you go 25 miles an hour, super slow, and there was nobody on the street. And I was just, you know, we were driving down Abbot Kinney, and I remember just kind of looking back and forth going, man, I haven't ever spent time shopping on Abbot Kinney, and there's tons of these cute little shops. And about 11 o'clock at night, everything's closed down. It's probably a Tuesday night as well.
You want to go shopping like right then?
Well, no,
we were driving down, and you were saying there's some cute shops. We were trying to look for the jewelry store, and I'm like, oh, it's about here somewhere, this jewelry store. We were driving really slow, kind of looking in the dark.
Yeah, and I'm not speeding. I mean, because I knew the speed limit, and I wasn't drunk. It was just this fact that we had just left dinner, driving back to Marina Del Rey, went down Abbot Kinney instead of going down Lincoln. And so anyways, I get pulled over, and the cop pulls me over into the Washington, it's Abbot Kinney and Washington gas station right there. And I remember just pulling in going, oh, it's got, you know, I'm getting pulled over. And I'd never been pulled over for drunk driving or anything. So I was just like, well, I wasn't speeding. Why is he pulling me over? And the cop shows up, and there's like 3 or 4 other cop cars that show up at the same time. There's like, I don't know, nothing going on, I guess. Well, they come up to my left, you know, the driver's side door, and I roll down my window, and they started to talk to me. And of course, I'm turning my head to the left, and I have a crazy left eye. So my left eye is weak. So it either goes in or out. It does all these weird things. So if you're making me turn to the left, that's why I always have, whoever I sit by has to sit on my right side so I can turn my head to the right so I can see them better. Anyways, they look, they're, you know, talking to me. Have you drank anything? And I said, yes, I had some wine at dinner. Make me get out and do the breath. They wanted me to do the, I can't remember if they wanted me to do the breathalyzer. And I said, no, I think it was before that. They had me do the walk, the walk test. Well, meanwhile, they wouldn't let Joanne out of the car. And I'm over there doing, I always laugh, like, because I was probably in some real,
she's fine, totally fine.
And I passed everything, right? But they didn't like the fact that I had wine, and that my left eye, when I turn my head to the left, kind of wavers. So they thought I was on something else, mind you, nothing. So, but they were like, there's something else in your system. And I said, no, there's not. So they have me over there doing this. Another cop comes over to Joanne's side. I guess, what did they say to you, Joanne? Do you remember?
What did they say?
Your friend just got just tested positive or just blew the breathalyzer. Something they said that I was drunk.
Oh, they were trying to trick us, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to get Joanne to say, something else. And she was like, no, I just had dinner. And
oh my God.
But it was about 11:30 at night, Monica, because when I got home, it was like 1 or something like that.
So that what they did, they ended up.
Why did they even pull you over to begin with?
Well, he said I was weaving over
because we were driving slowly. We were driving really slow, looking at stores. Yeah.
Well, and it's 2 double solid yellow lines on Adrenal, so you're not allowed to cross the yellow line, right? The solid lines, you're not allowed to cross the lines. He said I was weaved over the yellow line, and I'm like, well, I wasn't speeding, and we were looking at. So, anyways, I passed all of that stuff, and he wanted me to take a breathalyzer, and I said no, because I had always been told don't take a breathalyzer. So I said no, I don't want to take a breathalyzer. So he says, well, we're going to take you back to the station, and your friend has to figure out. So they basically made Joanne walk home at 11:30 in Venice, which wasn't thankfully that far away, but it was still the fact of walking on.
Not very safe.
Where's the camera when you need him? Who saved your life before?
I didn't.
I'm supposed to be there to protect you.
I know.
Crazy. Yeah.
So here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. They put me in the back of the police car. They said they weren't going to handcuff me. And mind you, now there's quite a few cops there. So they said, we're not going to handcuff you because you've been, cooperative. They put me in the back of the police car, and Joanne, they're, dealing with her, telling her she's got to walk home now because she couldn't drive the car. And when they get me in the car, they turned around. They said something. They asked me if I take steroids, and I'm like, no, I don't take steroids. And they said, well, do you know anyone that does? And I'm like, well, I'm in the bodybuilding industry. There's a lot of guys that probably do. I'm like, what am I supposed to say? I'm sitting in the back of this police officer car. They drive me to Venice police station, make me come in there, sit in a room. I'm sitting in the room for like 30 or 40 minutes. They finally one guy comes by, and he's like, looks in at me. He goes, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm not exactly sure. They knew who I was, because obviously at that time I was kind of had a big name in the industry. And so then someone else came back in, and they said, well, you need to do a breathalyzer now, or we have to take, you have to do blood work. And then, that's a whole process. You have to stay overnight and all this. And I said, fine, I'll do the breathalyzer. Well, I blew in it 0.01, like it was like, or 0.08, or I don't even know. It was like so ridiculous.
Under the,
nothing.
I like ridiculously low. And the guy was like, why? He said, he came in again. He's like, I don't even know why you're here. And I said, well, I guess they're trying to mess with me or whatever. So then they tell me, okay, well, you need to get a ride home. Or no, they were going to drive me back to Joanne's. But you know what they did is they came back in one more time, and they said, well, we have a drunk driving accident or something that we have to go to. So we don't have anyone that can drive you back. So I literally I was married at the time. My ex-husband had to call Joanne and tell Joanne or something like this, come and pick me up at the gas at 1 o'clock or 1:30 in the morning. And they made me stand out on the front of the Venice police station.
This really upsets me. This story is really upsetting me. First of all, they left Joanne to go walk by herself. What the heck?
They did that now. Could you imagine if something happened to a female? And like the police just was like, off you go.
No, that's a lawsuit.
Plus, they didn't know where I lived. They didn't know how far I would have to walk. I mean, I think I had to walk half a mile or something. I just wasn't in corner. But they didn't know that. They didn't know. Well, they had money. This
is an upsetting story.
Well, it's kind of a funny story. It's upsetting, but it's kind of funny at the same time, because we were like, why did I get pulled over? And then they make me do all the walk tests, and I had heels.
You had heels, and she's like, I said, this girl can do a backflip on this line. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I know. I think you could probably do a backflip when you're drunk, if you're anything like me.
And then the kickers are asking me if I know anyone that takes steroids. I'm like, in the back of the car. I was like, y'all this is ridiculous. So anyway.
Do you want me to write it down for you? Would that help you? I mean, you've been so helpful to me. I have nothing but wanting to help you. I mean,
oh my gosh! Okay. So super funny little.
The funny part is you getting pulled over because you were looking at shops. So you happen to swerve a little bit because you're like, oh, I want to shop there, and like a little swerve, and then boom, next thing you know, you're in the police station. Joanne's walking home by herself at 11:30 at night.
We sound like we were out, carousing.
Yeah, you guys were just living on the edge.
She was literally saying, oh my gosh, I lived here for 10 years and I never really got a chance to walk this street. And I think I was saying, I bought some jewelry from a store. It's really cool. And I said, it's up here somewhere. So we're like looking in the dark and we're looking for these little stores, a little store, you know. And then, like, really?
So you know
and
what?
so slow, it's like,
yeah, what creeps me out is the guy that was at the bar giving you guys wine, who was like happened to be there. Like, what creeps me out is thinking about him like tracking Joanne down when she's trying to walk by herself, or you when you're like something like that. Is like, I was like on the edge of my seat. Like, there's so many different moving parts in this story, so many characters.
I think we ended up getting to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're like, this is not the night we envisioned. This is not.
No.
Joanne had to call my ex-husband. Was like, Monica's getting arrested.
He said, what? I said, yeah, she's being arrested.
Monica Brant's getting arrested for 0.01 breathalyzer.
I know. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
nothing to do, did they? Well,
3 cop cars? They must have had nothing else to do. Seriously.
There was another car on the road. I think we were just it.
Well, speaking of nothing to do and everything to do, I know that Joanne's and Wendy, you guys have been awesome with the time here, and I want to be considerate. So we probably got to end this because I know we could keep talking and sharing great stuff. Joanne, wonderful. I'm so thankful for all of your information for our viewers.
Love you, Bo.
Love you very much too, and I've appreciated your friendship for so long. So I know that you have a flight coming up. How is it, like 12 hours from now or less?
I leave, I think, like maybe 1 tomorrow afternoon. And then,
oh, good. It's not like bright and early 6 a.m. or something.
No, it's not 6 o'clock because I haven't packed or done anything. I've been too busy doing tests and filling out forms. And like, I haven't even packed. It's all good. I will get there.
You'll get it done for sure. And so one last thing. Do I have one sitting out? I should have thought about this. Hang on one second. Don't go anywhere. I want to see if I have something here that is fun memory. I don't. Okay. Okay, so I don't have it out. I was hoping I did because do you remember my T-shirt I made that said "Chicken or Chocolate"? The choice is yours.
Chicken or chocolate. I do remember that.
So Joanne came home from England one time, and I was like, "So how was your trip? Was it fun?" She goes, "It was awesome." She goes, "I ate chicken and chocolate the whole time." So I made a T-shirt, a logo for my shirts, and those were awesome. Here's hubby.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Brad.
Wendy. Good to see you. Thought I heard that voice from the other room. It sounded awful familiar.
Oh, that's sweet. Lovely to see you there, Brad.
Good to see you. Tell Kevin hi for me.
I will. He's around here somewhere.
All right.
All right, honey. So I just remember you saying the chicken or chocolate, and I had it the whole time. It was so good, and so I ended up making a T-shirt that sold a lot, and it was a super cute brown shirt. And it just said chicken or chocolate, the choice is yours. And I still have a couple of them. I thought I had one out, but I don't. But
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm coming back to England tomorrow, so maybe I'll do this thing, chicken or chocolate.
Chicken and chocolate the whole time. All right, Joanne. Well, Merry Christmas to both of you, because I know, Wendy, you and I have something planned on the 28th, so I won't get to see you. This is our before Christmas. And just in case she didn't see the whole shirt.
Look at the top.
Santa's favorite.
Santa's favorite.
Of course.
Everybody's favorite.
Oh. All right, ladies. Love you both so much. Appreciate your time. And
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Safe travels, Joanne. Bye, Monica. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was great having you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the Monica Brant Show. Appreciate you guys so much. We're looking forward to the end of the year. All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. See you guys soon. Stay fit and love life. Hi, everyone. Monica here. Just wanted to thank you so much for watching the Monica Brant Show. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share these videos, and oh yeah, and that little bell notification, don't forget to click that so you'll get more great content every time there's a show uploaded or a video or anything else. So you guys, thank you so much for your support, and as always, stay fit and love life.